Hey everybody, this is Jake Wynn, Director of Interpretation at the National Museum of Civil War Medicine, here for another of our On Tour series of videos. One of my favorite places related to Civil War medicine is where we're standing right now on Chimborazo Hill on the outskirts of Richmond, Virginia, the capital of the Confederacy. This hilltop, in addition to spectacular views down to the James River, looking out into the distance, also parts of the skyline of Richmond, was home to Richmond's and the Confederacy's largest military hospital, known as Chimborazo Hospital, which sat on this hilltop. This is going to be our concluding video of our On Tour series, we've been documenting and looking at the stories related to the 7 days battles in June and July of 1862. So we've been to Gaines's Mill battlefield, we've been to Malvern Hill, where we talked a bit about Confederate military medicine during the campaign. We've been to Harrison's Landing as well, a location where the U.S. Army was evacuating its wounded soldiers from the campaign off to Fort Monroe and Washington, D.C. And so we finalize our videos series in this playlist with a visit here to Chimborazo and talk a little bit about Confederate military medicine here in the Confederate capital. If you are enjoying these videos, you can like these videos. You can like this one. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can get more content like this. You can see when we have videos, when we're doing live programs as well, which we do a few times each month. You will see those videos if you subscribe. It also encourages others to subscribe to our account as well. You can become a member of the National Museum of Civil War Medicine and support video content like this as well. Get cool perks as well, and lots of ways to support the National Museum of Civil War Medicine here on YouTube or out there in kind of the real world by becoming a member of the museum. So as mentioned, this is a part of our On Tour series. There's a whole playlist of these videos. We visited Harper's Ferry in the past, as well as we're going to continue moving forward doing battlefield visits, historic sites, museums related to Civil War medicine. So as to where we're standing right now, Chimborazo Hill in Richmond. Behind me you can see out into the distance. Below this hilltop is the James River, which runs right into Richmond, which is heading in that direction of downtown Richmond. This is, of course, the Confederate capital that will be established in 1861. And because of the nature of the combat that is going to be fought in between Richmond and Washington throughout the Civil War, and in the case of the 7 days campaigns east of here and down towards the Atlantic Ocean and the Chesapeake Bay, Richmond is going to play a crucial medical role throughout the American Civil War. There are going to be dozens of hospitals established in and around Richmond to care for the tens of thousands of wounded and sick Confederate soldiers and the occasional U.S. Army prisoners who need medical treatment as well within this city. Richmond is going to play a crucial role throughout the American Civil War, in part because of its strategic location and the fact that it was the capital of the Confederacy. Makes this a very valuable city to defend, and so much of the campaigning and fighting that is going to take place in and around Richmond is because of the importance of this location. Railroads streaming into Richmond that are going to make this a strategically important spot in addition to its political importance as well. That means there are going to be hospitals here to care for all of the soldiers that are necessary in this vicinity. This spot that we are in, and I'll ask John to kind of pan around, is a park today. This is Chimborazo Hill. This is the site of the Confederacy's largest military hospital, which would have spanned out across this park. At one point, over 100 wooden buildings, old barracks buildings constructed at the very beginning of the war, are going to be utilized. So this park, nothing stands yet from that time period. Nothing stands from the time that this was used as a military hospital. However, over there, you can see just the American flag sticking up, is the Chimborazo Medical Museum, which is operated by the Richmond National Battlefields Park, part of the National Park Service. They do an incredible job of telling the story of both Richmond in the Civil War, but specifically with Chimborazo and the medical story that took place here. Starting in October of 1861, this hilltop and the barracks that were here is going to be transitioned over to a medical facility. And it is going to become, as I mentioned before, the Confederacy's largest military hospital. Over the course of the war, in excess of 75,000 to about 80,000 patients are going to be treated here. And treated very successfully, I might add. They are going to have a very high survival rate. By all of the records that we can tell from this particular hospital, this is an important spot in the history of Confederate military medicine. As for the 7 Days campaign, what's interesting about Chimborazo is that many of the patients that are going to be treated here are not necessarily battlefield casualties, but instead are those who are sick. And the sick rolls are very, very long in the spring of 1862. Disease is going to be rife both in Richmond among the civilian population and among the soldiers who are fighting just east of here, fighting off and fending off the Army of the Potomac under George McClellan. In the U.S. Army's very famous Chickahominy fever breaks out. There's rife disease, typhoid fever, dysentery among U.S. Army soldiers. Well, disease doesn't care what color of uniform you're wearing. It is going to sicken and infect people on both sides of the conflict. And so those diseases are going to end up here in Richmond, end up among the soldiers fighting and defending the city as well. Many of them are going to end up in the makeshift hospitals here. This hospital is going to operate throughout the American Civil War. As mentioned, it's going to be caring for tens of thousands of patients, known for its high survival rate because of the ministering attentions of the medical officers, the volunteer nurses who are going to be working in this hospital, as well as the many, many enslaved people who are going to be caring for the patients in these hospitals as well. Interesting on that note, in the aftermath of the American Civil War, as the war comes to a close, and this hospital here is going to be used right up to the very end of the conflict, the barracks buildings that were here are going to be transitioned in the aftermath of the Civil War, and this is going to become a freedmen's site. So this is going to become essentially initially a refugee camp for all of the enslaved people who are here in Richmond when the war came to a close. They're going to, people from the surrounding areas who have been emancipated with the end of the Civil War are going to gather here and live amongst these barracks, and Freedmen's Operations, Freedmen's Bureau of the federal government will establish essentially aid for the folks who had gathered here. So it has kind of an interesting role, Chimborazo does, through the Civil War as a medical facility and then as a refuge in the aftermath of the Civil War. As mentioned at the top of the video, unfortunately, nothing remains of the original hospital that stood here. It is a beautiful park that you can come and visit. Highly encourage that you do so, and to go and visit the Chimborazo Medical Museum here as well. This is a beautiful spot for us to end our on-tour series of videos. Highly encourage you to come here to Chimborazo, come to the other sites that we visited to visit and see these places where these incredible Civil War events take place, but also where there is hidden, oftentimes, Civil War medical history. I hope you have enjoyed all of these on-tour videos that we have hosted here in and around the Richmond area related to the 7 Days campaign in June and July of 1862. You can find all of the videos in the on-tour playlist on our YouTube channel. Subscribe while you're there. Hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and all of these videos with your friends helps more people to see these stories, understand the importance of Civil War medical care, and how it is still impacting our world today. My name is Jake Wynn. I am Director of Interpretation at the National Museum of Civil War Medicine. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.